Good morning, everyone. It is fantasy football time with your favorite managers. I'm going to have to work on that one. There's too many managers to go around, but it is what it is. Fantasy start and sit, our favorite time of every Sunday. How you feeling, Devin?
Um, I'm all right for the most part.
Feel that.
There's definitely mixed emotions in my fantasy lineups this week. I have a couple leagues where I'm feeling confident. I have another couple where I'm not sure how this week is going to turn out, and I kind of need all my weeks to turn out pretty good this week. We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Love that. How was Thanksgiving for you?
A lot of food, a lot of family, so I can't complain. A great holiday all around. How about you?
Small, but Dallas won, so that's all that really matters in the end.
Yeah, fair enough.
Real quick, I think this is a very easy one for us. Josh Jacobs or Latavius Murray? It's Josh Jacobs. I don't trust a Denver offensive player for the rest of the year. It feels like
The only Denver player I'm comfortable starting, and comfortable is a very liberal word here, probably Cortland Sutton, just because
yeah.
Judy's been hurt for a chunk of the year. I think Sutton's floor, as depressing as it may be, is a better option than some guys where you're just banking on ceiling week by week.
So perfect timing: DJ Moore or Cortland Sutton.
I'm going to go DJ. Well, who are the Panthers playing? I don't want to just.
Baltimore with Sam Darnold at quarterback.
Baltimore with Sam Darnold. And Denver's playing who this week?
Oh wait, Denver's playing Carolina. Yeah,
Okay.
Denver's playing
Yeah,
Carolina.
I'd probably go Cortland Sutton, especially with Jerry Jeudy probably playing today.
We got you, Tyler. These questions right now are actually your thread, so we're just trying to get through all the ones that haven't been answered. So we got you. So
We'll
actually,
we'll
yeah, they're
we'll
playing
reply
each
to
other.
him too. DJ Moore, Deontay, or Burks. Pick two. This one's tough.
Rashad White or Christian Kirk, Mike Evans or Jeff Wilson. Oh God, White over Kirk, Mike Evans or Jeff Wilson. I want to hammer Jeff Wilson every single place I go, but like Mike Evans is Mike Evans.
I wish this was just one lineup question because it would be Mike Evans and Jeff Wilson Jr. and that would just be the easy answer.
Right?
Well,
Uh,
are you that high on Rashad White right now?
he's number one today. Fournette's out.
Yeah, I get that, but it's
And it's Cleveland. Cleveland's rush defense is god awful. I more meant that I need a new brain. I'm getting old. Oh, I'm wait. I think I heard you talk about how old you were in a stream, and I think we're similar in age. I think I might even be older at this point. I can't remember. I can't remember how old you said you were at the time though. So I don't want to go out here guessing. I don't want to be that guy. Be like, you look like. I don't want to be that fucking guy. Oh God, I just want to hammer Jeff Wilson so
I'm
bad.
going Mike Evans just because Mike Evans is like on the precipice of a milestone, and Marshawn Lattimore is nowhere to be seen in the matchup. Like I get it,
That's
Mike
true.
Evans is boomer bust, but his boomer bust is honestly one of the safest floors in fantasy football. For every week he has like 2 points, you're getting two or three where he has two touchdowns and like 100 yards. He's Brady's
You're
favorite
very
target.
you're a very pretty 27. I feel that. I'm turning 29 in a couple days. Or not a couple
Full
days, a
point.
couple weeks, like 2 weeks. Full point
Okay.
BPR. Garrett Wilson, Donovan Peoples Jones. Yeah, Foreman's
Deontay
out,
Foreman
but
is out. I'm
um
going
I'm gonna go
Joe
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson for sure. Joe Flacco's back at the helm.
Mike White.
Um, oh my, whatever. Anyone not named
Not
Zachary
Zach
Wilson?
Wilson is at the helm.
Yes. At this point,
So
a prime Tim Tebow probably makes the offense a bit more efficient. Every receiver in that offense gets an uptick. It might be
biggest
Elijah Moore today. It might be Garrett Wilson. It probably is Garrett Wilson. But don't be
Yeah, and the
surprised if
biggest
Corey
thing is
Davis
that
has
I'm
today.
pretty sure Trevor Simeon's at quarterback for the Bears, so the Bears are not going to do a whole lot on offense. Jets are going to see a lot of offensive time of possession. So even though Garrett Wilson might leave in the fourth quarter due to game script, I feel like Garrett Wilson's due for a touchdown today.
That's
So
the
I'd slam Garrett Wilson.
that's the one thing for Donovan Peoples-Jones is playing the Bucks. The Browns are probably going to have to throw the ball a bit more than they'd like to with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. So Peoples-Jones might have. I think Wilson has the better upside. I think Peoples-Jones might have a safer floor based upon game script. I think the Jets could get up big in this matchup if everything goes correctly because the Bears are without a paddle without Justin Fields.
This person said we're the first person to choose Evans over Wilson, and I told him, I was like, I really want to hammer Wilson, but like Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Like what? He's
Jeff
Brady's
Wilson Jr.
number one guy.
Like all things considered, you do not have to take our advice, point blank and period. If you have a feeling, roll with it.
Yeah. I really don't think you can go wrong with either choice. I think both are always. I think Evans is always a must start, but I think Jeff Wilson is an absolute slam dunk this week.
The only times I've ever truly benched Mike Evans are when he's injured or whenever he's playing Marshawn Lattimore. Like even in his down weeks, like his lowest output in yards this year was like 40 yards. And while that is not earth shattering, the dude's like 10 plus targets almost a week. Like I guess Julio comes back this week, so it might muddy up the waters a bit. But his lowest target output is 4 this year, and he's liable for a touchdown to 2 any given week. He has 3 on the year, so expect him to start reining in some more touchdowns.
Full PPR, we're going to pick 2 out of 6, but some can get eliminated pretty early. Miles Sanders, Dameon Pierce, David Montgomery, Gus Edwards, Michael Carter, Elijah Mitchell. I personally am throwing Gus Edwards and David Montgomery out the window off the bat.
I think Michael Carter has to be started.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm kind of leaning in the area of Michael Carter and Miles Sanders. But Miles Sanders is always a iffy. Any Philadelphia running back is an iffy for me. I know it's Carter for sure. And I can't start Elijah Mitchell because I just don't know what he's going to get week to week. I'm not going to start a Baltimore running back. I'm not going to start David Montgomery against one of the best defenses this week. Miami has a decent run defense against Dameon Pierce, and they're probably going to be playing from behind anyway, so who knows how many carries Pierce is getting. So is Sanders the call here? Is it Carter and Sanders?
Yeah, it's just you're trying to go with your best options. I think Miles Sanders, as inconsistent as he has been throughout his career, is the clear lead back in this Philadelphia offense if you're not counting Jalen Hurts as a main rushing attack weapon. I would definitely lean Miles Sanders. I think Michael Carter, for everyone that's pounding Rachaad White as a must start, Michael Carter is in that same territory. I think they're similarly talented, and I think the pathway this week for Carter to have a huge week is there. The game script should lean his way, and the talent's there. So, yeah, I'm going to go him without a doubt.
Let's see. What else can we get here? I got that one. Start one. James Conner or Rachaad White?
James Conner. I'm going James Conner. Rachaad White has a really interesting opportunity to be good. But then again, this Bucs offensive line has had a propensity to be really bad. I get it. White is a different runner than Fournette, and White could have a big day. He's been really efficient in this offense so far. James Conner, we're a year out from him scoring damn near 20 touchdowns, it felt like. If the Cardinals want to keep pace with this Chargers offense, in theory, they're going to have to score points. James Conner is going to be the goal line back. And if you expect points to be scored, Conner could have 1 or 2 touchdowns.
Let's get to the few in the chat. Morning, Carlos. Should I start Monty, CPET, or Christian Watson at the flex non-PPR? I'm throwing Cordero Patterson out the window because he's going to get 2 carries, and Algier's going to get 5, and Huntley's going to get 82. Like I don't understand.
It's Montgomery.
What that team is doing.
It's Monty. Anything that's non-PPR, it's really hard for me to put a receiver over a running back. If this were, say, if it were like Rachaad White whenever Fournette's healthy, or we're talking about Like if this were DeAndre Swift for this week, if Swift hadn't played yet, in non-PPR, give me the guy that's going to give you 20 carries and then just live with the points that's going to get you. Because Christian Watson has been electric the last 2 weeks, and Rodgers has shown he has a propensity to throw him the ball. I'm not sold if Christian Watson is fully there yet in non-PPR leagues. Because there are
basically because he has to beat one of the better
receivers.
secondaries in the league as well.
And there are very few wide receivers I'm starting at the flex and non-PPR. I will start the 2 receivers I have to start because you should have 2 good enough receivers that have that floor where you don't need the receptions. It's all yards and touchdowns. But Watson, if I look up his numbers right now, just give me 1 sec.
Basically, it's recency bias with Christian Watson right now because he has 5 touchdowns in 2 games. And while you look that up, Samaje Perine or Brandon Ayuk in full PPR.
Full PPR, give me Brandon Ayuk. Debo is questionable. We've seen Ayuk over the last couple of weeks really show what he can do. Perine should have a good week. He had a decent week last week with 2 touchdowns. But, well, shit. I don't know.
I like Perine in terms of just like PPR. He could get like 7 catches this week.
That's fair.
That's kind of where I'm at.
You know what? This is a really interesting opportunity for the Bengals because no Mixon, no Jamar Chase. You have to lean Perine for the sole fact that this is a banged up unit. They're going to need him to produce to play well. And
the biggest thing
Ayuk's
for me is
still competing for targets.
Yeah, and I picked the Titans to win this week because the amount of pressure they're going to put on Joe Burrow, and I feel like Joe Burrow is going to have to check down when he's under pressure too hard. And I think Perine's value alone is just going to be out of he could get 15 yards out of his receptions today, but he's going to have between 5 and 7. It feels like so. I'll lean Perine there. So are you still leaning Monty here after looking up Christian Watson?
The thing with Christian Watson, 2 weeks ago, he was absolutely elite in terms of yards per reception. He was over 20. Last week, he was about 12 per reception. He's only getting 4 catches per week the last 2 weeks. So over half of his receptions 2 weeks ago were touchdowns, and half of them were touchdowns the previous week. That's really hard to replicate. I'm starting him in a full PPR league because I'm confident in Rodgers targeting him to a certain extent. But whenever you don't have the floor that's baked in with a PPR league where you get 4 receptions, it's 4 points, you're banking on touchdowns. And if touchdown regression is real, I would expect he's probably not going to score this week. And I just think that's a realistic outlook.
So yeah, we'll lean Monty there. Okay. I think I got a loaded one for us. Okay, we're going to start this out very slowly. Bench one of these guys. Josh Jacobs, Rachaad White, or Aaron Jones?
It's not Jacobs if he's playing.
Yeah, I don't have scoring format, so that kind of hurts Aaron Jones. Personally, I would sit Aaron Jones because I just I can't. Mine's a little biased. How do we feel about Tyler Boyd? Tyler Boyd hasn't done a damn thing with Chase out, and I still don't expect him to do a damn thing. I just looked it up actually before we started, and I'll say it out loud. In the 3 games that Jamar Chase has been out in PPR, and I would assume maybe you're still talking about non-PPR, but in PPR, Tyler Boyd's put up 12, 9, and 6. 5 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets. He only got 2 of his 7 targets last week. I'm not sold on Tyler Boyd. They blew Pittsburgh out of the water, at least their defense, and Tyler Boyd got 2 catches. It's just not, especially with the pressure that he's going to be under. I can't start Tyler Boyd this week. History has shown me that even with Chase out, apparently he's better with Chase in. Because probably he's bringing on the second best guy because T. Higgins is probably getting the best guy. So, granted, Tennessee's secondary isn't the best, but let's look at the defenses that he played. He played against Cleveland and scored 12. Cleveland's defense is not great. Carolina has a decent defense. He put up 9. Pittsburgh's defense is really hit or miss, and he only put up 6 there. So, I'm not if you have better options, I just wouldn't start Tyler Boyd personally. That's kind of where I'm at. How do you feel about Boyd?
Tyler Boyd is interesting. Tyler Boyd is at his best whenever Jamar Chase is on the field. It's a lot easier to play the third wide receiver position than the number 2, just because the coverages are different. T. Higgins, I think, is good enough to be a 1 in a lot of offenses in the NFL. I don't know if Tyler Boyd is similar in that role. I think Tyler Boyd is amazing for this Bengals offense, and what he provides is very valuable. But in terms of the catch point and in terms of just the upper echelon of wide receiver talent, I think it's clear that he is the third best option in this offense. And while he could go to a different team at some point and be a wide receiver too, I just think without Jamar Chase there, it limits his ceiling, which is weird because with him there, his ceiling is also limited because there's only so many targets to go around. But life's a lot easier whenever you're not drawing the top 2 coverages. So in a spot, I've started Boyd in a couple of weeks. You're not starting Boyd to win your matchup. You're starting Boyd to have a consistent target, essentially, in a top offense. But even then, T. Higgins is the number 1 target in the offense until Jamar Chase comes back. The only uptick for him this week is Joe Mixon being out. P. Ryan's going to get targets, but he's not as talented as Mixon in the department of per-touch basis. So I would think if you have to start Boyd this week, you can do it a bit more confidently than the last 2, but it's still not. I'm not going to fire him up over a Keenan Allen. I'm not firing him up over a Juju or any of these top receivers and good offenses.
I'm firing up Juju here.
Yeah, I'm firing up Juju. There's no reason to not fire up Juju. He's Mahomes is his favorite target over the course of this season. Only reason he hasn't been startable the last couple of weeks is because of that concussion. And if he's fully healthy, I'm fully trusting him in lineups. He's very talented and he's physical. Something that Mahomes likes in targets.
Did he get taken off the injury report? Clear concussion. Yeah, clear concussion protocols. Blah 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 blah. Kadarius Toney's out. And he's competing with targets basically with Travis Kelce because MVS and Justin Watson just haven't been doing a whole lot. So yeah, I would definitely start Juju there. I mean, I like P. Ryan this week, but I'm gonna take the guy of the best quarterback in the league right now. Simple as that for me. So back to Jacobs, White, and Jones. So I'm personally sitting Jones because he's going up against the toughest defense out of them all. Not knowing scoring kind of sucks in this situation, but
that's fair. Yeah, I think you kind of have to go that way.
Okay. So we'll go bench Jones, and then we have to pick 2. I've kind of already picked my 2, but I'll see what you say. Alan Lazard, Christian Kirk, George Pickens, and Garrett Wilson. In my head, it's Garrett Wilson and Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think Kirk and Wilson are probably Christian Kirk is the top target in Jacksonville besides Travis Etienne, and he's liable for 2 scores any given week. He's a red zone monster. Lawrence loves him in the red zone.
And then pick 1 tight end. Juwan Johnson, throwing him out. Foster Moreau, Tyler Conklin, Noah Fant, I guess because he's going against a bad defense. I'm throwing out Hooper. I'm throwing out Taysom Hill. I'm throwing out Evan Ingram. Well, maybe not. Maybe I won't throw out Evan Ingram. Logan Thomas, they're going against Atlanta. But Taylor Heineke doesn't really target Logan Thomas. But for me, it's between Foster Moreau and Tyler Conklin.
I like Conklin just because the uptick we're going to see with Mike White that I'm assuming. The Bears defense isn't terrible. It's not terrible, but they're going to be really stretched out without Justin Fields out there. The Bears are going to be on the field a lot on defense. Yeah. I think they have a lot to contend with in terms of the offense. Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, while it's not anyone's first choice of a wide receiver core, it's definitely better than most. And Conklin's going to be the beneficiary of that. I think Conklin probably catches a touchdown. I don't know if I can guarantee that Foster Moreau catches a touchdown. He's gotten like 4 targets in the end zone the last 2 weeks, and he hasn't pulled one down. I'd say give me Conklin.
T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle. Oh, my God, Jalen Waddle. Okay. I get it. T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins. You can ask Austin. I had T. Higgins everywhere last year. I have this rule of thumb: second-year receivers, really good. And third year guys can be really good as well, but I'm a big proponent of sophomore wide receivers. They usually take a leap, even if they had insane first years, i.e., Jalen Waddle. T. Higgins is great. To the point that I made about Jamar Chase earlier, Higgins is better when Chase is there. And that's not to say that T. Higgins is bad all alone, because he's not. He was serviceable his rookie year, and he's been good in stretches this year. Jalen Waddle sees the second best coverage corner weekly because Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in football, fantasy-wise currently, besides Justin Jefferson. Tyreek Hill has been a revelation. He's breaking records weekly, and Jalen Waddle is like 85 to 90% of Tyreek Hill this year. So you can't shut down one of them, let alone both of them. So until Jalen Waddle goes on a stretch where you can't start him, you are starting him. He has to be hurt, or the situation has to become so dire that it's just Tyreek and nobody else. But Tua sprays the ball around, and even with a limited amount of targets that Waddle may have in any given week, he's liable to give you a touchdown or at least 50 yards at worst. I'll pull up his stats right now. In terms of yardage, his worst output was 23 yards, and he put up 5.3 points. But his lowest outputs have been 5.9 and 5.3. Every other week, he has been over 12 points, and every other week besides week 7, he's been over 15. And last week, he had 10.6. I digress. But he's a guaranteed 5 targets weekly with upside of up to 10 targets. You'd have to chop my arm off before I'm not starting Jalen Waddle. It would be him or Tyreek Hill, or him or Justin Jefferson, or him or Stephon Diggs. But outside of that, maybe Devontae Adams is the only other guy I'm putting in over Jalen Waddle consistently. He's a wide receiver 2 in the NFL right now, but he's a wide receiver 1 weekly in finishes. He's number 7 in PPR right now.
Love that.
Same.
DJ Moore or Tyler Boyd?
Gross.
I agree. Mainly because Sam Darnold technically throws the ball to DJ Moore more. I'm leaning DJ Moore. I'm ready for Tyler Boyd to absolutely blow Tennessee out of the water today and just prove me wrong. But like, history shows that like when he has less guys around him, he's worse.
I will lean DJ Moore. Reluctantly.
I took care of some easy ones too. Some of them were kind of like, what? Let's see what we can get to that hasn't already been answered. Dameon Pierce, Cortland Sutton, or George Pickens? I'm going to lean Sutton. I really don't like Dameon Pierce today. I think they're going to fall behind to Miami quick. I don't think he's going to get many carries, and I don't think he gets a whole lot of reception work, to be honest. Let me fact check that.
The thing
1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 5, 3, 3. Yeah, he does not get reception work.
Yeah, no. Give me the names again.
George Pickens, Cortland Sutton, or Dameon Pierce.
Pickens, I guess. Dameon Pierce is just good football player, not great fantasy asset. Dameon Pierce is people drafted Dameon Pierce at the start of the year at where he should have went. He's his day 3 running back pick coming out of Alabama. He's plenty talented, but he's playing on a terrible offense for one of the worst teams in football. He's not the asset people thought he was. The way that he rose up draft boards was a little too much for me. If you got him in the 13th round, smash that pick. But if he's creeping up into like not the 7th or 6th rounds, there was better value to be had. His floor is consistent, but his ceiling is almost non-existent unless he's scoring multiple touchdowns. He does not get receptions. He's efficient per carry. He breaks a lot of tackles, but he's not the RB1 that people thought they were going to steal in drafts. He is a solid to good RB2 and a great flex most weeks.
So you said Pickens?
I'm
Really
going
Pickens?
Pickens. I'm going to go Pickens. Yeah.
Okay.
Pickett likes Pickens a lot, and he's extremely talented. He makes a catch every week where you're like, holy shit, how'd he do that?
Pick 2.
Okay.
Full PPR. David Montgomery, Gus Edwards, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Damian Pierce, Jarvis Landry, Elijah Mitchell.
Jesus, that's a lot of names.
I am in the Peoples-Jones, David Montgomery car.
I'd have to agree.
Okay. Yeah, we just talked about Pierce. Jarvis Landry doesn't see a ton of targets. I had to play him last week because I was desperate, but he got me a touchdown, saved his value. Elijah Mitchell week to week is a big guess. Any Baltimore running back is a big guess. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. So Monty and DPJ. Oh, not DPH, DPJ. I think we got another one too. Let's see. Donovan Peoples-Jones or Latavius Murray. I'm still leaning Peoples-Jones. I feel like
What's the format?
It doesn't say. I feel like the Latavius Murray hype is way overblown. Just because Gordon's gone doesn't mean a damn thing to me. The offense is still one of the worst in the league.
Yeah, it's literally saying like, well, we have just starting a guy because he's the lead back in a terrible offense is like, I can't even quantify it. It's just not a smart move. Like I understand if it's a super highly talented player, but we're not even starting guys like CEH. He's not playing anymore because he's hurt. But like the weekly start of CEH whenever he was healthy because he's on the best offense in football was somewhat justifiable. But starting a 32-year-old Latavius Murray and one of the worst offenses efficiently in football makes no sense. Yeah. You have better upside going with a secondary back and a great offense than you do a terrible offense and a back that's going to get the bulk of the carries. So at this point, I don't trust Hackett to do anything. At this point, Hackett could be like Mike Boone. You're getting didn't Mike Boone get cut? They'll give Jerry Jeudy 10 carries out of the backfield this week. How Hackett's been calling plays. So
let's see what
I'm not
chart looks like. The depth
not
chart
putting my trust into that.
His backups are Marlon Mack and Divine Ozigbo. They're just backups.
Yeah, so look out for 20 carries to Marlon Mack.
Down for it, TBH. Devonta Smith or Antonio Gibson. Full PPR. Gibson against the Falcons, Devonta Smith against the Packers.
I'm going Gibson.
Yeah, me too.
As much as people like to hate on Antonio Gibson, he's been balling. He's to put it lightly, he's been hooping. He's really good, man. Antonio Gibson is extremely good.
Josh Jacobs or Travis Etienne. PPR.
Travis. I anywhere I have Travis Etienne, he's locked into my lineup. He could go for 5 points. I can't get mad about it.
Yeah.
Jacobs is cool. Etienne is cooler. Jacobs is probably the better runner in terms of the two between the tackles, but Etienne's upside with his receiving work is just it's so nice. Like he could realistically get like 9 targets in a week and get 80 yards receiving if Lawrence wants to target him.
Hollywood Brown or Treylon Burks?
Hollywood.
Okay, that's where I was too.
This Chargers secondary has not been good this year, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to see a bulk of the really good coverage. Hollywood should be in line for a big week. I was telling people to start him in Mexico, for crying out loud. Hollywood Brown is the real deal, and Kyler Murray's back, and that's a genuine connection.
I am choosing Michael Carter over Alan Lazard and Cordero Patterson in PPR.
I cannot blame you.
Okay. I'm not. Even my nephew came up to me yesterday. We were at my a brother-in-law's birthday party, and he's like 18 at this point. So, but he was like, do I start how do you feel about Samaje Perine this week? And I was like, well, who's your other option? He's like Cordero Patterson. I was like, Perine. I'm not starting Cordero Patterson. His value was saved by a return touchdown last week. Other than that, what else has he done since Arthur Smith decided to fuck around and find out?
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense to me what Arthur Smith is doing. If it was winning games, it'd be a different story. Garrett Wilson or Christian Watson? Oh, Tyler got to that one. I would assume he chose Watson over Wilson. Okay, interesting. I really like Garrett Wilson this week, though. The Bears' defense is not good. Mike White actually throws the ball. Let's see. Searching through Josh Jacobs or Rashad White. Ooh. You start the guy who's done it before, right? That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. It all depends on the lineup construction. If you think that your team has enough upside to pull something like that, go ahead and do it.
Oh, it's a standard league.
So what were the names?
Josh Jacobs and Rashad White.
If it's a standard league, Josh Jacobs, you're hammering that. Jacobs is a better running back than Rashad White currently in terms of the scheme of the offense. Because Rashad White could have like 6-7 receptions and you could salvage the day. But without the reception upside, he's not fully convincing to me. I'm not sold on him.
Bench one of these guys. We don't have any in the chat, right? Okay, no, we're good. Bench one of them. Rashad White, Travis Etienne, or Michael Carter.
Depends on what you like. This is just a cup of tea type thing. You're not benching Travis Etienne for any of these two.
I'm going to ask if it's PPR because that matters for me. If it's PPR, I'm benching White. If it's standard, I'm probably benching Carter.
Isn't Robinson out this week?
Yes, he's a healthy scratch. So many notifications going on. I can't imagine how many Tyler gets on a Sunday morning.
I'd probably lean Rashad White over Michael Carter.
That makes sense. Who should I start? Oh God, there's a lot of names, and we can only start one of them. I think you're going to choose Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson, Drake London, Cortland Sutton, Paris Campbell.
Hollywood Brown. He's the best player on that list.
That's what it was too. Yeah. It's
best quarterback situation. The defense isn't going to be that impressive against them. We got another chat question. So we've got Antonio Gibson or Rashad White.
PPR, I'm going to go Rashad White.
PPR, I'm going Antonio Gibson. Like, don't scream at me. As of today, in full PPR leagues, ESPN, standard PPR, Antonio Gibson is the PPR running back 15 on the season. On the season. This is a man that was relegated to kick return duties due to Brian Robinson. And yes, maybe his career was saved whenever Brian Robinson got shot in the knee. That is neither here nor there. This is a player that has gone over 10 points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times out of 11 available weeks. He has not missed a game. He is a guaranteed 2 to 3 receptions with the upside to get you 7 some weeks. I get the Rashad White hype. Rashad White could have a boom week. He could also be what Leonard Fournette has been most of this year and be super disappointing. Antonio Gibson, relatively speaking, has been a surprise. People wrote this dude off as someone that was going to be RB3 on the depth chart. At this point, obviously Robinson gets more carries or more goal line work, but the fears with Gibson and me are gone. He's 10 plus carries a week, 3 receptions a week. The touches are there.
I mean, yeah, we'll take the guaranteed points to Antonio Gibson. I get what you're saying.
Atlanta sucks. Atlanta's terrible. And Taylor Heineke's playing at quarterback. I think Washington should win this game. No Kyle Pitts for the Falcons, and Marcus Mariota for all of his potential, is not as good as Heineke right now. Washington should win this game, and I think Gibson will be a big part of it.
I feel like this one's easy for us, Juju. I really like. I will say it with this. I really like Isaiah Pacheco. I really do. I think he's a great player, and I think he could take over the Chiefs' backfield. But he has yet to score a touchdown, and he does not. He surrenders all receiving work to Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that. You got to play Juju here.
Simply
Juju is going to get more targets, more catches.
The only player, the last Chiefs running back you could start weekly with confidence was Kareem Hunt. And it's been years since Kareem Hunt was out. Well, Damian Williams had that really weird pocket of time. But Chiefs running backs, there's a reason why we say running backs, because Andy Reid uses a litany of running backs weekly. It doesn't matter who you are, what your name is, or talent, regardless. There is no bell cow in Kansas City because Patrick Mahomes' arm is the bell cow. And
yeah,
I'd much rather have somebody on the perimeter that's going to command targets as opposed to somebody who's going to get 10 to 12 carries. And even the red zone work goes to Kelsey. It goes to Juju. It's going to receivers, or even Mahomes can scamper in and take touchdowns. So there's just not enough volume, and there's not enough high-value carries to be had. Like, Isaiah will make good plays, and he will probably average a good yards per carry, but touchdown upside is limited with him at best.
Yeah. So yeah, Juju for sure there. Miles Sanders or Tyler Boyd? PPR.
Miles Sanders. He's not going to get you a lot in the receiving game. And
no, not at all.
Game script wise, we're looking at Green Bay.
And even Tyler Boyd in PPR is almost 10 most weeks. His lowest is 6, but he's usually hitting at least 10, usually 12.
For this week, I'm going to go Tyler Boyd just because.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Boyd for sure.
He's had 5 targets minimum. He's had 6 targets minimum. 5 targets minimum the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah,
that's volume, and I get that. Carries are important, but I think targets matter more because getting 1 point per reception is better than no points per carry. And most running backs aren't turning 1 carry into 50 yards or a touchdown. A lot of the time, it's field positioning.
Right, and you just have too many running backs in the Philadelphia backfield, including your quarterback.
Sanders is not going to get the red zone work for touchdowns unless it's like they don't want to run Hurts. And it's just, with Boston Scott there, with Kenneth Gainwell. I haven't heard about him in months, but there's other people there that could feasibly take some of the work. Jeff Wilson.
I am going to hammer, I'm going to hammer Jeff Wilson. I really like them both this week, but Jeff Wilson to the fucking moon. Raheem Mostert's out. Worst rush defense in the league. He was already the lead back over Mostert. Jeff Wilson is an absolute hammer this week.
Jeff Wilson has done nothing but produce over the last calendar year, and people, I'm not gonna say people are writing him off, but Mike McDaniel made a move to get Jeff Wilson Jr. This is not for a reason. This is not coincidence. The Niners didn't have to trade Jeff Wilson Jr. They got Christian McCaffrey, so they had a surplus of running backs, and Wilson will cost more in the long run because of the Elijah Mitchell situation and where he was drafted. But Jeff Wilson Jr. is an asset to NFL offenses. He is a hard runner. There's a reason why he was startable in San Francisco, and it's translating to why he's startable in Miami. And I genuinely think he's probably going to be the starter once Mostert even comes back. He's younger, he's fast, and he's physical. There's 3 things that Miami loves. So, Jeff Wilson for sure.
Yeah, good luck this week, Steven. Go get him. Fuck him up. What's this note? Second consecutive start, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, whatever. I forgot Giovanni Bernard was a Buccaneer, but they also have Keyshawn Vaughn. And Giovanni Bernard's, I feel like, is going to take some receptions, and I would not be shocked if Keyshawn Vaughn vultured a touchdown. But I guess that was more of the Bruce Arians era of kind of weirdness going on back there, but we'll see.
Ooh, Debo has a hamstring.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good about that.
Should you take somebody out for Olave? So somebody posted a picture, and they're saying, should they plug in Olave over? Should they plug in Chris Olave over Christian Kirk, George Kittle, or Alvin Kamara? Because I would plug him over Kittle, to be honest, because Kittle is currently in their flex because they have Kelsey.
Chris Olave is like a weekly start. The dude's a monster. He's like the best rookie receiver, and it's not relative.
So would you plug Olave over not Christian Kirk, Alvin Kamara or George Kittle?
George Kittle. As good as George Kittle is, well, who's their starting tight end is the question.
Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, the only way I'm starting 2 tight ends in a league that's not mandating 2 tight ends to start is if it's like Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey. And even then, I'm shaky on Andrews. There's only 1 tight end you have to start every week, and it's Travis Kelsey.
I don't think so. Indianapolis's secondary is pretty good. Their defense is pretty good and probably should give Pickett some fits. So I don't think Pickens is a start over any studs per se. I don't think he's going to have like an insane week. But if you're desperate, I wouldn't even say desperate. I would say if you're starting to get towards the lower echelon of guys where you're like, I don't know who I'm going to start this week. You could probably start Pickens. I think he's kind of like on the top half of the mid tier. But overall, I wouldn't start him over most guys this week. If the Colts did what they did against Philadelphia, and even though Philadelphia has looked sluggish over the last 2 weeks, I just personally can't start Pickens against Indianapolis for the most part. I know we picked Pickens in one of our things, but how do you feel about Pickens, like overall?
He's the best receiver in that Pittsburgh offense currently. Like I think Deontay Johnson is probably better, but I think Pickens is actually a really good option if you need a flex. Yeah, Pickett likes him, so that's the thing. It's like Kenny Pickett isn't going to throw a bunch of touchdowns, but he's going to throw for a lot of yards weekly. So I would lean going Pickett or going Pickens over some marginal guys. Like I would lean Pickens over a guy like, I don't know. You'd have to be in some dire straits. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's not a wide receiver 2. He's borderline wide receiver 3, possible flex play, barring situation.
I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but I just want to be sure. Nick Chubb or Jeff Wilson?
Nick Chubb. Don't get cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pickens against Indianapolis is actually Deontay Johnson's going to draw. Deontay's drawing Stephon Gilmore weekly. There's no doubts.
Gus Edwards or Kareem Hunt? Neither.
Yeah, just drop them both and pick up the next best option.
Good Lord. Would you change anything in this lineup? They're not benching anybody egregious, so probably not. Geno Smith or Tua, I would still start Tua. Houston has not given up a whole lot of points to quarterbacks, but I think that changes this week. Let's see. Just trying to make sure everyone on Twitter and YouTube gets their questions answered. We got 15 minutes until shit locks up. Hollywood Brown, Treylon Burks, Cordero Patterson, or Kyle Allen, because it's a super flex.
What were the names again?
Hold on, I'll get this one real quick. Ayuk or Lazard? Ayuk. I can't start Allen Lazard against Philadelphia. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think if there's anyone that's getting started this week, it's probably going to be
I don't think it changes my answer, Matt, but I just want to be
Alec or
sure.
Dameon.
Is this PPR?
Are we assuming this is Alec Pierce or Damian Pierce?
Oh yeah. Also, which Pierce? I'm always assuming Damien because he's the better player. But yeah, I just need you to confirm the Pierce in this situation. I still don't think it changes my answer. I think I'm picking PPR Damian Pierce. Okay. I still think I'm going Godwin.
Yeah, I'm even tempted right now. I'm searching the internet to see if I'm taking a freaking Debo Samuel or Debo or Chris Godwin this week. It's a full PPR league.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Godwin because earlier we talked about Damian Pierce simply just doesn't get reception work, and I think they're gonna fall behind Miami pretty darn early. So Pierce might get like 10 carries today, but he got swallowed up last week against Washington, and like he may not get swallowed up super hard as he did against Miami, but I would go Godwin here, especially in PPR.
That's my question to you, Austin. Am I going to do Debo Samuel or Chris Godwin this week?
Let me look at Debo across the board because Godwin's been super underwhelming. He has 1 touchdown this year. Debo only has 2. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought he scored a touchdown against Arizona. Oh, he scored a rushing touchdown against Arizona. No. Oh, it doesn't show his. Why does it not show his? Why is it not showing his rushing work? That's weird.
Full PPR, bench one, ETN, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White. You're benching Rachaad White. You can't bench CMC for Rachaad White. Yeah, ETN's my guy. Austin and I have been saying all morning. You got Jeff Wilson's the back in Miami right now. Miami's a great offense. Rachaad White is going to be behind one of the worst rushing offensive lines in football. I think Brady and the Bucks kind of air it out this week.
Well, and the thing is, you're looking. So CMC obviously is the lock, even though it's weird out in San Francisco. You're still playing CMC week to week. You're looking at 3 number 1 backs: ETN, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White. Which one hasn't proved anything to you yet? It's Rachaad White. So you just pretty much have to hammer the guys. ETN's going to get reception work. His value will be just fine. Jeff Wilson should score fucking 8 touchdowns today. So Jeff Wilson's going to be fine. So until I know a lot of analysts are high this week, including myself, I do really like Rachaad White this week. But over these guys, I would not get cute until Rachaad White shows that he's number 1 and will fully take over Leonard Fournette. So yeah, I would bench Rachaad White and then Michael Carter or Boyd. With did he go ham in Germany?
Carter?
I don't remember.
Or Boyd?
Rachaad White. Did he go ham in Germany?
He had over 100 yards. That was the thing.
But he didn't score a touchdown.
No, yeah, he didn't
score. He didn't get any receptions. So you're right. He did rush really well. But 105 yards with no receptions or no scores is not good for PPR. So I would still bench him in that situation. Carter or Boyd? Let me just look at Carter real quick. Who's his backup? James Robinson's a cut. So Ty Johnson, Michael Carter. Michael Carter, for sure. But James Robinson's a healthy scratch, and like his backup's Ty Johnson, for sure. Michael Carter. Scary Terry, Chris Olave, Godwin, or Pickens. Terry and Olave for me.
Well, so you're going to lean Terry over Chris Godwin?
Taylor Heineke loves Scary Terry, and Atlanta's terrible.
That's fair. Yeah,
Terry has a really good matchup.
Olave is the first one I'm starting for sure. I think Chris Olave is, like I said earlier, the best rookie receiver out this year. I'd probably go Olave and Terry as well.
Do you get Carr or Jimmy, or do I trust Brady in the rain? I would trust Brady.
Yeah, there's a lot of weapons out there for Tom Brady.
And neither of them really have great matchups. Jimmy or Carr, that is. Carr has an okay matchup. Jimmy technically doesn't have a great matchup. So I would just trust Brady across the board here. Debo or Monty, flex PPR. I would still lean Debo there.
Yeah, I'm going Debo.
Debo, Aaron Jones, Michael Carter, Rashad White. Ooh. Aaron Jones gets a lot of reception work.
I'm going Jones. Just based upon what Green Bay needs to win this game. AJ Dillon's been terrible all year. They're going to have to use Aaron Jones. They have to use Aaron Jones to win this game.
Yeah, and I don't think they lay down at this point. So I would go Aaron Jones for sure. I really like Michael Carter, and I don't like Aaron Jones. But if I need to be realistic and put my bias to the side, it's Aaron Jones because he's guaranteed reception work. All right, gents, 9 minutes left until lineups lock. See if we can get to any last minute questions on Twitter, or if anyone's in the chat, you still got questions, we will get to them as fast as possible. Let's see.
So Austin, how are we feeling? Do I start Debo or do I start Chris Godwin?
The concern you are showing me sounds like you should start Chris Godwin. It sounds like you really want to start Chris Godwin. Personally, I would leave Debo in there. But the way you're talking to me,
I think I'm overthinking it because I got this off of Fifth Down Fantasy. Debo Samuel is expected to play against the Saints. Rappaport reported that Samuel looked like himself at practice on Friday after he was limited throughout the week. He's been a bit big play dependent since the 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey, but he should still be in your lineup for his big play upside. So that's where I'm at. I want to start Debo.
Yeah. Let's see.
There's no need to get cute at this point in the season.
Yeah, you're playing your best guys. Plain and simple. You are at the must point. You are at the must-win point. Granted, every week is a must-win week, but if you're desperate to get into the playoffs now, you got to just start your studs.
If Rappaport is saying Debo looked like himself, I'm gonna roll Debo.
Yeah.
Mike Evans or Debo Samuel? PPR. I like Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Debo is going to be used in a very interesting way throughout this game against the Saints. I'm sure he's going to get at least 10 touches, I would hope. 7 receptions, 3 carries. Yeah, Debo will get his touches. I just don't know to what point Debo is going to score his points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for Debo to have a nice vintage performance where he can get the receiving yards, because that's in the league that I'm starting him in. It's receiving yards are like really weirdly scored. So that's part of the Debo Samuel effect. Mike Evans for sure. He's on the precipice of another milestone. He's Brady's favorite target in the red zone. I like Debo. There's a lot of mouths to feed out in the Niners offense. And it seems like it's McCaffrey, then Debo, then Kittle. But Ayuk is muddying the waters weekly. So I would go Mike Evans over Debo. And then Austin, the funny part about starting Debo or Chris Godwin, if I start Godwin, I'm giving him my vote of confidence because I'm trading Debo. Debo's going to be gone after this week.
It's funny because I see like a lot of things on Twitter talking about like, oh, don't expect any home run balls because of the rain in Tampa. Like, you think that's going to fucking stop Brady from going deep with Mike Evans? Fucking Brady will air it out. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Especially at the instant sight of Rashad White not breaking through, he's just going to air it out. The second the running game, I don't think they'll force the running game. I really don't think they need to against the Browns. If the running game doesn't work, fucking air it out at that point. So, Trying to see if there has anything else that we could do. 5 minutes and counting remaining. Before we are locked in. Boyd, Pickens, or Wilson?
Give me Wilson.
I'm in the same area. I was leaning Wilson too.
Okay, so the point output between Debo and Chris Godwin is less than 2 points in this league. Do I just pull the Band-Aid? I'm not going to have Debo moving forward. Like Debo has been traded. I'm losing him after this week.
Oh, so fuck it, play him.
Play Debo.
Fuck it.
That's fair.
How desperate are you to win?
I'm playing for first place in my division. I explained it to you earlier. I've got 3 teams, 7-4.
Okay.
So the 7 teams go to playoffs. It's a 10-team league. One person gets a bye. Yeah, so let's look at the full standings. I've scored the most points in this league, by the way. My team took a fat shit last week, and I should be 8-3. I'm 7-4. But I'm playing one of the 2 other 7-4 teams currently this week. The 2 teams behind the 7-4 teams in my division are 6-5. And then there's a 8-3 in the next division, a 6-5 in the other one, and then 4-7, 2-9, 2-9. So I've got a 99% chance of making the playoffs. If I win this week, it's damn near 100%. So I would like the win this week. Do I need it this week? Week 13 should be a win. Week 14, they could beat me. I have faith. Week 15, guaranteed win. So if I win this week, I'm guaranteed like 4 out of 5. If I lose this week, I'm guaranteed like 3 out of 5.
I just saw Britt is answering questions along with us in this thread.
Yeah.
And someone was like, oh, Deontay Johnson or Zay Jones. And he's like, Deontay. And the person was like, why? And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't have time to tell you why. You asked the question, you got your answer.
Yeah.
This isn't a game show.
Debo Samuel, I'm putting my faith in you. The good part about that trade is I'm honestly feeling extremely confident in Amari Cooper weekly starting next week. Oh, full PPR pick 2. Godwin, Kamara, Jeff Wilson, Rashad White. Jeff Wilson
Godwin,
is starting. Yep, sure. We'll go with that.
Yep. Jeff Wilson, Chris Godwin. I can't. Kamara could explode at any single time. Don't get me wrong.
Ooh, Austin, hear me out. Do I bench Kamara and put Godwin at my flex?
Sure.
Oh my God, yeah, okay. Big brain.
Kamara's been one of the biggest disappointments all year long.
So, okay,
except for one big game against the Raiders.
Here is the lineup, Austin. Mahomes, Geno, Kenneth Walker, Saquon. I have to play Saquon because he played. Debo, Jalen, Everett, Godwin, Patriots, Nick Folk.
Nick Folk got you, 15 already?
Yeah. And with those alterations, it's bringing my total projection to 228.7 to my opponent's 207.4. And if Debo can't play, I am... Oh, shit. Okay, we'll do it this way. Debo and Godwin, move them around. This is brilliant. This is my piece de resistance. For any reason, if Debo cannot go, he's in my flex. Kamara gets put right in, and Godwin is starting at receiver. Walker can start at running back.
Perfect.
Hopefully, I don't look like an idiot.
Hey,
Kamara's the PPR RB 13. Oh no, I don't like this.
What happens if you take away his 40 bomb though? Week to week, he does not look good.
In this league, he's been over 20 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but he's been under 15 twice, and he had a 17-point
Do you
out.
have different scoring in that league?
This is the .34 receiving yard league. This is the stressful league.
Oh yeah, I would not start Kamara. I would definitely start Godwin over Kamara at that point if you're doing that many.
And you're more confident in Kenneth Walker?
I'm hammering Kenneth Walker. Las Vegas is terrible.
Worst comes to worst, if I get the all clear from Debo, I might just toss in Kamara over Kenneth Walker.
I feel that.
Maybe.
All right, lineups are officially locked. I really have to use the little podcasters room. So Devin, do you have anything else?
No, good luck to everybody and their teams. Trade deadlines are coming up, so if you're starting to scheme, do it quickly. Make your trades, trust your team, and remember, start the players that score the most points. Peace.